And we constantly used to run this kind of analysis with correlating the responses of the survey after people would come back from that trip with the information that we had about them. But what happened was that we noticed that this is not enough, because what we do is that we have 80,000 students, 4,000 of them are participating in these programs, and then let's say 500 of them are responding to the survey. And we cannot really figure out whether the responses that we are getting there is telling us much about how this program is working. Are the students benefiting? Is this really the right program for them? We are spending millions of dollars to support the students to go overseas. And is this really an effective, useful program? So the challenge that we had was how we can come up with, again, some good, old style, robust, reliable analysis that will help us really unpack this program and see, is this the most effective way to spend money to support our students? So that question came from our senior executive. Let's look into this program, but not just go through the correlations. I need to bring some historical context before going into the professional side, the dark side of the university. I used to be a researcher, and I spent a couple of years after my PhD as a public health researcher with a focus on data linkage. So the idea is that, for example, if someone gets injured and you look at their recovery, then you link it with their data from prior to the injury, their morbidities, so you can make some analysis there. So that was my academic field before I go there. So what we did, and I think this would be potentially the most important slide that I have here, what we did, we started to link data. Now, like many of you, the problem that we have is that our data sits in different systems. So our admission data is in the admission system, our grades is in a different system, our student evaluations is in a different system. The programs that people are attending, so if they're going overseas, the data may sit in an Excel file. Now it is much better. By the time that we did this analysis, it wasn't that amazing. Our students' experience is a national survey that the government runs, and that data sits in a different environment and a different model. And graduate outcome is a different survey, which has its own kind of data. So what we decided to do was to, rather than looking at this single data set, which was that survey and linking it, to just go through and link all these data sets together. So we're dealing with many systems, but we created a centralized satellite model through some good analytics and say, okay, you start here, this is your grade 1 marks, your first survey that you're filling, you go overseas, you come back, and we can monitor that all the way to the time that they finish university, 6 months after graduation, and now we have 3-year post-graduation. So we did this big data linkage. Now, the big thing for us was ethics and privacy. Again, when I asked Gen AI to create an image about an ethics office, you can see it created all these people who are bored and tired. So I pushed it to create a happy ethics office on the right intentionally, because I think it was very biased. So the big thing for us was that we had to go to each of these data sets and see what sort of permission we have from our students. Are we allowed to link these